Greetings, Minecrafters, and welcome to another exciting, hopefully, Minecraft discussion on all things well-being. It's about becoming the boss of your brain, right? That is the foundation, because thoughts come first and feelings come second, and this changes our lives when we change our thoughts. It's real. It's like the truth. I know this to be true. My name is Kimberly Quinn, and I am very excited to have a discussion today about how life happens for you, not to you. And obviously, there are times when this is a tough sell. You know, when bad things happen, and anywhere on the scale of little bit to mild to, big adversity. And it feels like, why is this happening to me? Why is this happening to me? And the reality is, it's not, nothing happens to us. It happens for us, because there isn't anything that happens it isn't meant to happen. I know it's an enormously tough sell when it's something awful. Things happen to make us, to help us, to support us, and guide us in the direction of living our highest vibration. It is all about spiritual growth. No one said it was painless. That's for darn sure. And you know my backstory for sure. And yet I wouldn't undo any of it. Really, I wouldn't want to relive it either. I didn't say that, but I wouldn't want to undo it. And again, it can really be a tough sell when these things happen, but it's not happening to us. It's happening for us. So everything, it's all meant to help us rise. That is the whole point. And inevitably, fear, here's little G. He's got some good smells going on. Inevitably, fear will be a player in our lives. And it's up to us how much of a player we allow fear to be. That's just the truth, because really the two big motivators, if we break it down to a super simplistic form, it's love or fear. We're driven by one or the other. I mean, it's just how it is. And let's see, I made some notes here. Okay, we make decisions based on love and fear. And so many of us, we make decisions all day long, right? We've talked about this. We make them actively or we make them passively. There's decisions are still getting made. I'm sure we've all had this experience. I know I have. When we actively choose to spend money on this, and it's like a concentrated, okay, that sweater is worth it, or whatever. This lunch is worth it. And it's actively spending money. Or we passively let it slip through our fingertips. Or all kinds of maybe getting tired of doing a certain job. We really don't like it anymore. It doesn't fill us up anymore. But some of the people are nice, and so we don't want to really leave because of that. But we know we've outgrown it, so we hang on, because we can't actively sit down, do the pros and cons, muster up the courage to say to whoever you need to tell, with kindness and with honesty and kindness, as my dear friend Father Mike would say, with honesty and kindness, you know what, this has been a good ride. I've really liked it. I like the people here. I've just outgrown it. Okay, but when we can't do that because we're needing approval and feeling badly about ourselves because, oh no, I like these people, they're going to think I'm a bad person. That active decision then becomes a passive one, and typically what happens is, that person will get themselves fired. It's all unconscious. It's in the vault because they know they've outgrown it. They know they don't want to do it anymore, but they can't actively decide with authenticity, just kindness and honesty, don't want to do it anymore. When people would understand, give notice, whatever, or you might get some backlash, who knows. But you gotta do you. You gotta take care of you. And that decision will then be made for us, because for one way or another, you won't be there anymore eventually. So we're talking about that. Making, so that would be the fear of losing approval, making that decision. And we can also make decisions very much based on fear that are under the disguise of practicality. And I got to give Jim Carrey a shout out for this one, because he talks about this a lot. And it can actually have positive kudos and maybe make good money and all this other stuff. But it's based on practicality. Oh, I can't start that new business from scratch. I can't stop my work at whatever cubicle farm I'm doing in business when what I really want to do is be a stand-up comic or whatever like that. And so we slide out of alignment, and once we slide out of alignment, it gets very easy to remain out of alignment, and we're not on our purpose because we're playing it safe. And yeah, I mean, that's just it. So what else am I going to say? Practicality, and then okay, which is fear in disguise. We said that. And here's the thing, oh my gosh, this is so true. We can think, we can get it into our heads. Little G just went in the beaver pond. Every once in a while, they'll smack their tails to let him know that that's like their yard. You know what I mean? Whack! And it's really kind of funny. So he's like, "What's up?" Anyway, so sometimes we really get locked into this thinking that you know, that whatever it is that we're looking for, whether it's the business or moving to the other side of the country, maybe even, I don't want to say a state, so it would be whatever example. Somebody who lives there would be like, it was so offended. Let's just say you live in a place where you don't want to live. Maybe you've been stuck there for a job or a partner. Maybe that relationship's gone or whatever. And it's been your dream to go live out west in Montana and raise horses, or to open an ice cream shop on the East Coast in some quaint little beach town in Maine or Cape Cod or something, but it seems so ridiculously out of reach. How could I possibly do that? Here's the thing. Abundance is infinite. And I'm not trying to sound like sappy sap, cheesy, because it's true. We get locked into this, oh, it's so far out of reach, it's so far out of reach, and then we do that fear-based thinking thing where we play it safe. And I'm not saying to be reckless. I'm not saying to be reckless. And who am I thinking who talked about this? Oh, Aaron Doughty, who used to sell women's shoes 9 to 5 in Barney's in New York, and he talks about this. He was making good money. He was making, I forget, he told his salary too on there. I forget he said it, but he was playing it safe, and he's like, but miserable. And he said, here's the thing. He planned his escape. So I'm not saying be reckless, but he wanted to be an influencer on YouTube full time, and so he just got up early and he stayed up late. And he just kept doing it while he was selling those shoes until he was making just barely enough to get by, then did it full time. And now he's like enormously successful. I love listening to him. But this is the point. And Jim Carrey says it too. What he did, that thing where he wrote himself the $10 million check and put it in his wallet. I think he gave himself 5 years or 3 years or something. He was not in known at all then. And he just put it out there. Like, I know, he says this, and this is what I say to myself. I know it's going to write itself. I don't know how. I don't need to have that answer right now. I know it will write itself. And sure enough, within three years' time or 5 years' time, I forget, that's when he landed the Dumb and Dumber movie for $10 million exactly. What's really cool, I just found this out when I was listening to him this morning, actually. It's not really a part of this video, but it was just kind of cool. He had a very close relationship with his dad, who's since passed. And then he talks. He put that original check that he wrote himself in with his dad when they buried him. It was just kind of very moving. I thought it has nothing to do with what we're talking about really necessarily, but I just thought it was a nice thing to say to you, because what a nice connection. Because his father really influenced him as far as grabbing what you want in life. And here's the thing. People often worry about failure too, and here's the big news. You can fail at what you don't love, right? And there is no such thing as failure. My dear friend Oprah, oh, look at little G, he's in the creek. I don't know if you can see him right there. Where is he? There he is. Oprah talks about this a lot. There is no failure anyway, just redirection. Just redirection. There are no mistakes, because it's just redirection. It's God, the universe, whoever saying, okay, no, you're going that way, but what you really need to do is be going this way. That's all that is. And Wayne Dyer's another one. You know my list of teachers here. There's no such thing as failure. He says it a different way. He said there's only results. We do this and we produce results. We do that, we produce results. If they're not the results we want, then we need to change what we're doing, which also begins with changing how we're thinking, right? Because thoughts, feelings, behavior. We're just producing results. There are no failures. There are no mistakes. And I loved how, I think it was Jim Carrey, all my teachers are getting mixed up here, but, talks about, as far as the fear of failure, you can fail at what you don't like. If you do that fear-based, play it safe practicality thing, you can fail at that too, especially if you're failing yourself and you're miserable. If you're doing that weekend warrior thing where you can't wait for it to be the weekend, even if you're not miserable, but there's no spark, to me that's like a fate worse than death. I mean, it's kind of like a good mattress. You want to love what you're, just like you sleep on it for however many hours. Well, if you get 8 times 7, do the math. Like you spend whatever amount of hours doing hopefully your calling, job, career, calling. You want it to be something you absolutely love. And again, sometimes we have to plan towards that, but at least you're moving in the right direction. So here we go. So life happens for you, not to you. It's also not a dress rehearsal. This is the big game. And so we're talking about listening to that authentic voice, like Oprah says. Listen to the whispers before they turn into bricks, because before you know it, the big game is done. And that's it. I mean, do you want to say on your memorial stone, you know, never took a day off from work, or played it safe, made a lot of money you can't take with you anyway? And here's the other thing, is that as far as the money goes, money is a side effect of following your passion. That's also something Aaron Doughty says. I haven't listened to him in a while, but he's clearly in my consciousness today. It's a side effect. Like, when you do what you love, and there's so many books written about this. There was the one back in the 70s, 80s, do what you love and the money will follow. You know, I mean, it's just so true. And again, if you can fail at anything, which just means redirection, you may as well do what you love. You know, life is short, okay. Life is here for you, not to do anything to you. This is Kimberly Quinn signing off from the spectacular woods in northern Vermont. I'm still armed with long-range mosquito fogger in case there's a bear. All right, have a mindful day.